Don Smith. Animals, fun with. Animals, fun with. Don Smith.
I have to channel my inner Seinfeld right now, who most of the time Seinfeld was channeling his inner Andy Rooney anyway. You ever notice that animals never do what you want them to do when you leave them alone? I took a road trip, month of August into September, 7,000 miles. I left my cats, two Meg's cats, left them alone. I had my neighbor checking in on them. When I got home, something was not right. I opened up the door, and I started to walk in. As I started to walk in, I had this feeling that maybe I had to do something else. It was kind of like you had to be one of those sappers from World War II with the metal detector, because as I went in, cat poo, no cat poo, cat poo, no cat poo, cat poo, no cat poo. My cats were really pissed off at me for leaving them for 3 weeks. They were just pissed off. They were pooped off. Today, my whole entire ground floor was steam cleaned by the carpet company. That's where we start. We all have furry friends, animals, pets, but we also have animals that we come in contact with over time in any situation. When I was a kid, there's a place in upstate New York. It's not there anymore. It's called Catskill Game Farm. And my parents would take us there all the time. They had a petting area, and there were deer, goats, sheep. When I was about 4 years old, I was in the petting area, and I was feeding a goat. But I hadn't figured out, the physiology of the goat. So I was standing with my feet, and the goat's legs were over here. So all of a sudden, as I'm feeding the goat, he's peeing on my feet. Who knew? Okay? You're 4 years old. You have no idea. Again, Catskill Game Farm. 4 or 5 years old. There's a deer. But no one tells me you're not supposed to touch the antlers, especially when they're fuzzy, because that's when they're growing and really the deer feel it. I'm just petting the deer. The deer decks me and then runs away. I mean, I was 4 years old. It's like, this deer, what did I do? I had no idea. Things like that. You always have to be ready for the unexpected when you're dealing with animals. Back to my cats. I have one cat, the sweetest cat in the world. His name is Munson. He and my dog, Derek, get along great. Used to let them both sleep with me. It was fun. Munson no longer sleeps in the bedroom with me. One morning I woke up. I smell something. I'm like, what is that? I smell something. Again, it's like cat poo. I'm like, why am I smelling cat poo? Now, Manx cats are long-haired cats. The one cat has no problem with depositing. The one does. So he gets Klingons all the time. And I start going through the sheets, and I find this present in the bed. And I'm like, gee, thanks, Munson. I clean everything. I take all the sheets off. Everything goes in the washer. But I'm still smelling this. I have no idea what I'm like. I cleaned everything. I took everything off the bed. Until I look in the mirror. And there's a smear. That was when I decided the cat doesn't sleep in the bedroom with me and the dog. When I was a kid, again, we got a dog. Wire-haired fox, crazy dog. And he had a major accident. We had gates up in the kitchen. My sister was 7 years old, and she went to put him into the kitchen, and his back leg got caught, and he broke his hip. And we took him to the doctor, and the doctor said, well, we can do major operation surgery on him and put a pin in and put them all back together, but we could just let it go and see what happens with him. His name is Spunky Magoo, by the way. So Spunky Magoo, my father decided, let's just see what happens, and we'll let nature take its course. Nature took its course. Spunky, everything healed up, fine. But Spunky had a problem because he was such a young dog when this happened. He never really got the whole lift your leg thing. And he became like the most famous dog in my neighborhood as a kid. Because Spunky, instead of lifting one leg, would lift both legs. And he would like balance on his front legs and walk forward while he was peeing. And people in the neighborhood would actually come to see my dog pee because it was so funny to see him do this. You know, animals are a part of your life. Pets, animals that you meet wherever you go, whether you take your kids to a petting zoo or anything. It's always fun, and you never know what's going to happen when you come in contact with a given animal. Mr. Toastmaster?